Hello, I am Paul from Albem89 Productions. I'm here with Philip, also from Albem89 Productions.
Hello.
And I'm also here with Oscar, and he's from the Buckgun Master Zero One
Hello.
channel. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and what happened so far and what's going to happen soon. Let's begin. First is Iron Man from 2008. It's the first film in the series, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. How do you guys think about it?
I mean, okay, so the film introduced, Iron Man, which is like one of the first live action. I think it is the one only live action movies about Iron Man. It introduced Shield throughout the film. It had Agent Coulson on there, and I mean, it's a good start for the whole universe itself in Phase One.
Yes, yes it is. What do you think, Oscar?
It used one of the most popular Marvel characters, and that was a great way to begin it, actually. And it wasn't a bad movie. It was a great movie. It's one of the best Marvel movies, so it was a great way to start off the universe.
Yeah, I'm guessing like the directors, the producers of Marvel Studios who made the Iron Man film, they wanted to make this big universe happen. And they started off with a famous character, Iron Man, and they did good. A lot of people loved it.
Yeah.
And at that same time, as soon as they stopped finishing filming Iron Man, they started filming The Incredible Hulk. When that came out, was it a success or was it drowned?
Incredible Hulk
Uh,
was good.
it was the second live-action Hulk film that released, and the first one was garbage.
The
Yes, it
first
So,
was.
one was terrible.
yeah, and so that one, it, I wouldn't say it's like really good, but it's not bad. It did its purpose. And
Yeah.
it wasn't bad. It was okay.
It was
Could they
way
do better?
better than the
They
old one.
probably can.
Yeah, the old Hulk film was like a disappointment. Sometimes it didn't make sense at all, and sometimes it's
It was just
like
stupid.
was his father like the Absorbing Man or something?
But yeah, I mean, this is a new studio starting out making these movies, so
Yeah,
I mean, it's good. It's an independent movie company that's now making these good movies and now hit box office and all this stuff.
yeah, the
Yeah,
Incredible Hulk. Just Iron Man, Incredible Hulk started the entire thing. I like the
yeah,
story too. They had Emil Blonsky as the Abomination, and they started off Bruce Banner from the beginning. They didn't want to redo that mess that Hulk was, so
yeah.
yes,
And it was a great way because they actually had released really close to each other side by side because Iron Man had released May of 2008 and The Incredible Hulk had released June of 2008. And so they had released side by side really quickly, and so that was a great way to introduce
yeah.
a lot of people into the Marvel universe really quickly.
Mhm. And then the movie after that was Iron Man 2,
Yep.
which is like a really good movie. I still remember everything today.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you guys think about it?
I mean, Iron Man 2, it again developed the characters more, on the Iron Man perspective, which is technically this is setting the way for the first Avengers movie already with Incredible Hulk and Iron Man 2, because they're trying to put the team together when they introduced the Avengers Initiative.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like at the end, after credits of Iron Man 1, Nick Fury showed up. Then Iron Man 2, they actually expanded on the character Nick Fury and the Shield agency and just blew it away, like expanded on it greatly.
yeah. There's actually lots of hate for Iron Man 2, saying that it's not really that the best one and it's not that good. And it's not bad, actually, in my opinion. It's pretty good. The story did have, a little bit problems here and there, and it could have been fixed.
Mhm.
But for the most part, it was pretty good, except for the casting choice of Rhodey. I didn't like how they
Oh
changed.
yeah, yeah.
I don't. I wish they would have kept the same actor from the first film, but the new actor, he did a great job as well. So there's nothing there. So I guess that could be forgiven. And yeah, Iron Man 2 did its purpose. It was to, again, set up more of the Iron Man persona and to set up S.H.I.E.L.D. in a more visible way. And so pretty much it did its job, and it wasn't bad. So it was pretty much a good movie as well.
Yeah, and connecting those three movies, Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, and Iron Man 2, the after credits of Incredible Hulk, Tony Stark showed up as a consultant, and he started talking to General Ross about like Hulk and all that stuff and Abomination, what happened.
Yeah,
And then
and
at the end of Iron Man 2, they were talking about stuff, and then it showed the
Mexico.
events of
The New Mexico incident.
Thor, which is the next movie that's coming out.
Yep.
That came out after Iron Man 2.
Well, yeah, I wanted to say, I like how in the Incredible Hulk's after credit scene when Tony Stark showed up, that's where Marvel showed that these universes are connected.
Yep.
Yes.
Because Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk, these two movies could have came out, and then we would have been like, that's okay. Okay, they could be in completely different universes. They were just two ironic, conveniently Marvel movies placed together. But then that after credits in the Incredible Hulk showed that these movies are together and they're in the same universe, meaning that Marvel has bigger plans. And then in Iron Man 2, in the after credit scene with Thor Hammer that was in New Mexico, it showed that there's even more to come.
Yes. People were surprised. Like, people knew that something was coming, Thor, and people were excited.
The fans were just, they had all these speculations and everything. This is when the mindset of now an Avengers movie is gonna come out. An Avengers movie is gonna come out, and they just start thinking about it and making all these fictitious things and stuff. But it happens sooner or later.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah. So the next movie is Thor. Thor came out 2009, and
No,
yeah,
it came out in May
it was
of
good.
2011.
2011.
2011, I mean. It was good.
It was good. I know that a lot of people aren't interested in Thor. You know, Thor is not the most interesting character of the Avengers, but how Marvel did it in this movie made him interesting was actually a really good job.
Hmm.
I actually didn't want to watch Thor because I thought it was a boring character, boring story, and so I didn't want to watch the movie. But when I did, I saw that this is actually a very interesting character who comes from a great, interesting world of Asgard and the other nine realms, and it's a great character to be put into the Avengers.
Yeah.
Uh, I like the visuals of the movie. It was good. Especially when they showed the Asgard scene and the soundtrack, that made the movie a whole lot better.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny. Marvel had kept people waiting because Iron Man 2 didn't come out until May 7th of 2010, and Thor came out May 6th of 2011. That's basically 364, almost one more day to make a complete year that these movies that came out, and that actually many people actually stayed with that hype for a year. Is actually showing how Marvel is able to keep their audience interested in their movies, even though it takes them a long time to produce them.
Yeah. So by this time, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is growing. Had 4 movies now.
Oh yeah, it had Hawkeye and Thor too. Or they
Yeah.
didn't say
Okay.
it
Yeah.
was
There was an Easter egg of Clint Barton and Thor.
like Agent Carter.
Yes.
Oh, they did. I didn't even remember that.
Yeah. He was trying to like shoot Thor, but then he was told to stop because he was like
Oh,
left hander.
okay. I think I remember now.
Yeah. And then the next movie. I mean, at the end of Thor, in the after credits, it showed
Yeah,
that Loki,
yeah,
he was still alive.
and he was controlling Dr. Selvig.
Yeah, and talking about the Tesseract,
Mm.
which led into Captain America, the first
Yeah.
Avenger,
Yeah,
And that
starting
also set up the plot and the conflict
the Avengers.
for the Avengers with Loki and the Tesseract.
yeah, but it was still way too early to actually tell.
It was,
But
yeah.
but yeah, so then with Captain America the First Avenger, we're actually sent back in time to the 1940s because we have to actually make an origin story for Captain America.
Yeah.
Yes. And this
And
also set in stone the events that happened in Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk happened because they tried to recreate the Super Soldier Serum,
Super.
which is Captain America's Super Soldier Serum. So yeah.
It also relates to Iron Man with Howard Stark.
Yeah, Howard Stark showed up in Captain America the First Avenger as Tony Stark's father
yeah,
and the founder of SHIELD.
yeah, And what was I trying to say? I like how World War II movie could have been really boring, but how Marvel played it out, they actually made it really interesting, and it was actually a great movie. And that was the last movie 2011 until the Avengers, so they had to get it right. So they could have kept people waiting almost a year for that movie.
I mean, the after credits of the Captain America movie was the trailer for the Avengers.
That is true.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, because at the end of the movie, Captain America
And
really got to
the story that and in
uh
the after credits of Thor about the Tesseract, people knew it was the Cosmic Cube, the Tesseract, and then in Captain America, it was revealed that it was the Tesseract when
Hmm.
Red Skull got it.
The
mhm.
Cosmic Cube and the Tesseract.
And
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think by Captain America's release, wasn't the Avengers announced anyway?
it was announced. It was announced, yeah, but the teaser came out at the after credits
Yeah.
of Captain America.
Yeah, and so basically that was like
So,
the next big thing for Marvel.
Yeah,
and that was the conclusion of Phase 1 right there. When the
Yeah,
Avengers, when the Avengers was assembled by the end of the Avengers.
yeah,
yes,
and when Avengers first released, that was like the biggest movie that basically the biggest comic book movie ever was
yes.
Avengers.
People, fans, everyone, they were all excited. That became a box uh hit just like in the first day as it came
It,
out.
yeah, it broke many records.
So, what do you
Joss
think of the
Whedon,
movie though?
Oh yeah, the Avengers. That was really good.
it was possibly at that time it was the best Marvel movie they ever made,
See, I would
and
say that the movie was. I'm guessing, because like the first part of the movie was usually, just talking about stuff, and then the events that led to them to band together to the Avengers. But they actually became a team at the end already when the Battle of New York started. That's when they actually first became a team. And the death of Phil Coulson was the one they were actually avenging.
really, and the death of Phil Coulson was so big that it was that was a big moment in Marvel because we had seen him in pretty much almost every movie. We had seen him in Iron Man 2, Thor, and I don't know if we saw him in Captain America in the present day. And
Uh,
I don't think we saw him in the Incredible Hulk either, did we?
no, he wasn't.
No. So yeah, but he was pretty much there for most of Phase 1, and for him to die in the Avengers, that was really sad.
A lot
And
of people like cried
yeah,
just
and
because he died.
yeah, because he was a big character. And so then all those other characters coming together, all these characters we've seen for years. Iron Man, we saw him for twice. The Incredible Hulk, we'll talk about the Hulk in a minute. Thor, yeah, those well, we've seen him once. He did it right. He was awesome. So we were like, he'll be awesome again in this movie. And
Yeah.
Captain America, we had just recently seen because it was less than a year since the movie came out, and Chris Evans seemed to do amazing.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, and now the Hulk was speculation because it was a new actor, so we didn't know if
Yeah,
Mark
instead of Edward Norton,
It was Mark
they had Mark Ruffalo
Ruffalo.
instead.
Yeah.
and we didn't know if he was going to do a great job, and he ended up being pretty good. He actually ended up doing a great job. Can we say better than Edward Norton? No,
No. Yeah.
because really they're two different versions of the Hulk, and either one would have worked in the movie, so it doesn't matter. Both would have been fine.
Mhm.
And so yeah, and so the Avengers ended up being one of the best movies out there, and Joss Whedon just did an amazing job as both director and screenwriter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Director, screenwriter.
And that event there changed the rest. Every single film after it.
Yeah,
And the Agents of Shield TV show too.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that later.
I don't think at the time of the Avengers movie, Agents of Shield was announced or even created.
Agents of Shield was announced like at the time of Iron
Iron
Man
Man 3.
3.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the next movie now, Iron Man 3.
So the Avengers was great. It was a great movie. It deserved all the success it got, and that concluded the end of Phase 1, Avengers Assembled.
Hmm.
Yes.
Now, Phase 2 is where we're currently in, and it started off with Iron Man 3. I like the story in Iron Man 3 where it shows Tony Stark was affected dearly after the events in New York because, as we know in the Avengers, he's the one who closed the portal and went into the wormhole.
Yeah, he
And
had
it
a
barely
Yeah,
escaped
PTSD
death.
like thing
PTSD.
happening on him. So then
Yeah,
he had nightmares. He
yeah, because
struggled
he
through
barely
what
escaped death.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Tony was really affected because he barely escaped death, and he completely risked his life to save the Earth, and to come back from that is pretty much what Phil Coulson's going through right now in Agents of Shield.
Iron Man 3 showed the personality and character of Tony Stark more
Yeah,
than
it really
Iron Man
was.
itself.
Pretty much, it was a Tony Stark film. It wasn't even an Iron Man film, and
Yes.
Robert Downey Jr. killed it as Tony Stark in that movie. That was I feel like Iron Man 3 is the best Iron Man film, just because, not even because of Iron Man, just because it showed how great of a person Iron Man is in underneath, underneath the suit,
Yeah,
as
Tony Stark.
of how he is the playboy philanthropist, billionaire with all the brains, and can overcome any obstacle without any problems, just using his mind, and but also stay a douchebag at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the movie introduced this weakness that he has.
Yeah, he has weakness, and I like how in the end he showed that he doesn't honestly need to be Iron Man. Just
So he
with
blew up every single one of his suits.
Yep.
it doesn't matter, he could just rebuild them.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
how'd
true.
you think about the what's it called? The Mandarin in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, like, I thought the Mandarin was gonna be the actual Mandarin, like in comics, not just some British actor.
Yeah, the Mandarin was pretty much a garbage villain.
Yeah. Like,
I didn't like the
it
Mandarin.
was
Mandarin was pretty
disappointing
bad.
to some people. They were like, they messed up the Mandarin character. Not that they thought it was.
He's just an
Yeah,
actor.
I think he was a garbage character in the movie. The humor in the movie was great. Some people find it not funny. I actually found the movie pretty funny. Um, and I feel like for Marvel, that was a movie where they're like, we just went through this great big event, which was the Avengers. Let's give out a movie where we can relax now a bit, and let the people enjoy themselves now with these characters that we have. We already know Tony Stark. We already know Iron Man. We know these tough situations they went through. Now let's give them a movie where they can relax, just chill and enjoy a Marvel movie after the big serious event of the Avengers. I feel like that's what Iron Man 3 is.
Yeah, Iron Man 3 was a really good movie. Break from the Avengers.
Extremis.
Yeah, it's a great way to
The
show how the
extremist
Avengers are
thingy from
dealing with.
comics.
And that's where Agents of Shield came out of.
And yeah, straight out of that, that's how Agents of Shield started.
The Extremis.
Yeah.
It really did, and so Iron Man 3 led to many great things, and it showed how the Avengers are dealing with the event of New York.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much, it's only affecting Tony Stark, actually, just because he was the one who did a lot in that battle.
Yeah, he's the one who actually drove the rocket straight up to the portal.
Wormhole,
To
yeah.
space.
It pretty much is, he's the only Avenger that's getting affected, because Thor has a lot more things to deal with back in Asgard, and Captain America has a world to catch up on. And Hulk has himself to deal with.
And the next movie was Thor: The Dark World.
I find it a little bit boring, just because, again, it's with the Thor thing, but at the same time, it was a great movie. It was I don't know. I'm conflicted between is the first one better than the second one, just because I feel like the Thor one was better than Thor: The Dark World, but at the same time, I just don't know. Sometimes I feel like Thor: The Dark World is better than Thor. It all depends.
Yeah, like what I said, all the movies after the Avengers, like, it deals with after Battle of New York, and that everyone's aware that there's aliens in the universe now.
Most of the people were talking about the Battle of New York in the movie.
Yeah, so in the movie Thor: The Dark World, like, more aliens came, Malekith, and he attacked London.
Or
Greenwich.
It was Greenwich.
Greenwich. Yeah.
Yeah, and the plot wasn't bad. I like how this time it wasn't about Thor coming back to Earth. It was more about Jane going to Asgard.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I like how that was. I like how it wasn't what we expected. It was more about a contra. It was like a flip, and it was more of what we didn't expect. Loki's death, I didn't expect that, and getting contradicted on that was a different thing.
Yeah. And then they found.
Yeah, Loki wasn't really dead. He's that trickster he is.
Yeah.
And now all the orders that they say are from Odin isn't really Odin.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But for the most part, it was a good movie. It served its purpose of showing what is Thor now up doing after the Avengers. And it's not. It was a good movie. Thor isn't really affected by the Battle of New York. He seems fine.
I mean, he's an alien anyway.
Yeah, that is true. Well, he's not really an alien. He's more like a demigod.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
didn't they say was it Odin that said there was no such thing as gods or something like that?
He said that they aren't gods, but
yeah, I think he said they weren't gods.
Yeah.
Because they rise, they live, and they fall. Because they do die.
Yeah. Just a long time. So yeah, Thor: The Dark World was
A good movie. It
good
wasn't
movie.
bad.
Yeah.
Pretty much every movie that has been released from the Marvel Cinematic Universe is pretty much good. I don't think there's ever been one bad movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. And then there was a twist. Loki died, yet he wasn't dead because
Yeah,
he
because
tricked
in
his
the end,
death.
he just ends up killing Odin and taking his place.
Yeah. And then now he's Odin.
And then the
Yeah,
after credits of the movie shows the collector on it.
yeah.
Yes, the
It
mid
showed
credits. It showed the collector. They were giving him the
and the other guy.
Aether.
The
Yeah,
Aether.
Aether.
them taking the ether to the collector.
Yeah, the Aether is actually an Infinity Gem.
Infinity Gem.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that will lead into the third Avenger movie with an Infinity Gauntlet movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Thanos probably.
And
Yeah,
probably even Guardians of the Galaxy because
probably
he might
Guardians of
appear
the
there
Galaxy. I
too.
feel like it's gonna take another something else, but I think what they're gonna do is with the gems is just collect. The collector's gonna try to get all the gems, um, and then give it to Thanos. Thanos will use it to power the Infinity Gauntlet, and then that's what the
Yeah,
Avengers are gonna
that's
have
gonna
to
be the
do.
main villain, like the next Avengers movie after Age
I
of
think
Ultron.
Avengers 3. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, and then at the after credits of
Oh, and after credit scene, Thor returned back to Earth
yeah,
and met.
Yeah, he found a way to return to Earth to
Yeah.
see.
Uh,
That's
s- so next movie is the latest movie
the Winter
from
Captain
this
Soldier.
America,
point.
the
Captain
Winter
America: The
Soldier.
Winter Soldier. We had our own review just like yesterday.
Yeah,
Uh,
and so far I feel like it's the best movie out of Phase 2 so far.
Yeah,
It's
it
better
is.
than
it's like the best movie out of all. I
it's
mean,
the
like
best one. It's
it
better
might
than
be on par with the Avengers, but I think it's really good.
it's on par with the Avengers. It's better than Thor: The Dark World. I don't know if it's just because I like Iron Man more than Captain America. I might say Iron Man 3 is better than the Winter Soldier, but at the same time, the Winter Soldiers did way more for the Marvel Universe than Iron Man
Yeah,
3.
it has bigger, deeper impact on
Yeah,
them.
but Iron Man 3 showed Iron Man's human side, while uh
Captain
the Captain
America
America
showed
movie showed
Shield getting
his
destroyed.
side that he's not really a Boy Scout. He's
You
like,
know, he's a tough hero that has to make tough situations, but still has a good heart.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so it worked also on Captain America's character development, but unlike Iron Man 3 where it only worked on Tony Stark's character, here it worked on Captain America's character, Nick Fury's character, Shield itself. It just worked more on the Marvel
Yeah,
universe.
it was a bigger scale change for the whole universe.
yeah.
Yeah, it worked better with the Marvel universe, and so that's what makes the Winter Soldier the best out of the three movies.
Mhm.
Just because it affects more on the Marvel universe.
So at the after credit, mid credit scene, we saw
Oh yeah, the scepter from Loki
yeah
and
So
there's
yeah,
how
so
that leads into the next Avengers film
Avengers film. Yep.
with
yeah, it does.
Quicksilver and Scarlet
It gives
Witch.
it gives a lot into the details. With first we see where did Loki's scepter go? They have it. I think Hydra has it now.
Well, I guess it was Shield at first who got it, but you know how I found out
Yeah,
that Shield
but then
became
Hydra
Hydra,
is part
so
of Shield.
But it's
Hydra.
pretty much Hydra that got it.
yeah, for the whole
So
time it was
yeah, that
Hydra.
makes sense. That makes sense. Shield took it after the Battle of New York, and then since Hydra's in Shield, technically now Hydra has it.
Hydra has it. Yeah.
Mhm.
That makes sense. And then we get revealed two new characters, which are the cast of the Avengers: Age of Ultron, which is Quicksilver and Scarlet
Scarlet
Witch.
Witch.
Yeah.
Now, not to confuse anyone, this is a different Quicksilver from the one that's going to be in X-Men: Days of Future Past, or with a different actor, just because Marvel Studios and Fox are not together,
Yeah,
so
they're
they
not
cannot
they're
have the
different.
same character. So they have to make two different Quicksilvers, which is
Yeah.
lame.
So
It's really lame, but hey, that's how business works these days with the movie industry.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, so that's nice to actually see how they look and how they're dealing with it now. So I guess Hydra has them captured. How they escape, I don't know. How the Avengers find out about them, I don't know. That's all just to be revealed either in Guardians of the Galaxy or the next Avengers film.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
then next film is now Guardians of the Galaxy, which is coming out.
And August
August 1st.
1st.
Yeah, it's gonna be about Star Lord, Groot, Rocket, Raccoon, just called Rocket. Gamora, and pretty much that's and Drax the Destroyer.
Yeah, and I think, does it look like an origin movie to you guys? Does it look like a movie where they
they're introducing the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I mean like Star-Lord, he's a human that got captured on the Earth. That's why he still has Walkman with him. When he was he was captured when he was really young by aliens.
I mean, that's what Marvel's trying to do. Marvel's appealing to two audiences: the one who knows the comics and the one who hasn't heard of any of their stuff before.
Yeah, I feel like what they're gonna do with the Guardians of the Galaxy is gonna go to both audiences, because really until this year I had no idea who the Guardians of the Galaxy were, and I feel like they're gonna hit both like my audience and then hardcore comic audiences who know every detail about Guardians of the Galaxy. So I feel like they're gonna hit both at the same time by doing two things. One, being an origin story, but not being an annoying origin story where like it starts exactly from the beginning. Being an origin story where it introduces the new audience to who these characters are, but at the same time they already have history together.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much they're galactic outlaws that banded together to form the Guardians of the Galaxy.
So technically, are they Guardians of the Galaxy, or are they actually like another purpose?
They actually are Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Yeah, the movies, Avengers, it was revealed that the Tesseract is actually an Infinity Gem. And in Thor: Dark World, the Ether, that's also an Infinity Gem. And in this movie, they're also gonna find another one. That means it's all leading up to the final 4 Infinity Gems to power Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet.
Which is super powerful if you haven't known already. It's like
So are you guys excited for the film, or?
I'm really excited
for it. I can't wait.
Yes, and it's coming this year, so.
And with Marvel signing a contract to make films until 2028, I feel there's gonna be a lot more coming in the future.
Yes.
What I wonder about that contract is that, do they already have enough ideas to fuel until 2028, or is that just so that way they can keep people interested until 2028, and then they'll just go along with it until eventually they just won't have any more ideas? So they're gonna have to go to other studios and be like, "Can we have your heroes in our films?" Because I feel like if they don't have ideas yet for 2028, what I think is eventually going to happen is when they run out of ideas, they're going to go to Sony and Columbia Pictures, and they're like, "Can we finally have the Amazing Spider-Man in our film?" And then they're going to go to Fox and we're like, "Let's do a Avengers X-Men team up, and then let's do a Fantastic Four Avengers team up. Let's have it." And then eventually, possibly in 2028, they're gonna have the biggest film ever, where they're gonna have X-Men, Avengers, Fantastic
Spider-Man, all just together.
Marvel, everything.
Ghost Rider, freaking anyone, Daredevil, anyone in their film. They're gonna have like 30 Marvel heroes in their film.
Yep.
Then that's gonna be the biggest ever.
That's gonna happen in 2020.
I think it could be one of those, like what's it called? The superhero registration act thing, where there's a superhero.
Yes, there might be like a superhero civil war, like what happened in
the comics. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh yeah. So after Guardians of the Galaxy is Avengers: Age of Ultron. A lot of people were like shocked and actually really happy when they heard Age of Ultron. I mean, Ultron, the adamantium robot.
Yeah, it's already in production.
So yeah, people are happy.
Yeah, wasn't he created by the Vision?
The Vision is also a robot, so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I feel like it's either that or the other way around. I don't remember well.
Yeah, I think it was Ultron who created Vision, and then Tony Stark and Hank Pym created Ultron.
Okay. Oh yeah. So I wonder what they're gonna do with the Age of Ultron, because that's what they're filming that currently.
Yeah, it's currently filmed. Yeah, it's filmed.
Yeah. So I wonder what they're gonna do there.
Yeah, they're gonna have Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. We know that already.
Yeah, they'll help out with the Avengers most likely.
And yeah, and we saw, I think Hulk is gonna be like going rampant or something, because concept art showed the Hulk Buster armor that Tony Stark had going against Hulk.
Here's the thing: is Tony Stark in the armor?
True, like Ultron could be controlling it.
Exactly. It doesn't technically have to be Tony Stark in the armor, because it could be anyone. It could be like someone stole his armor, or someone made that armor, or someone besides Tony Stark is in that armor.
Yeah, possibly too.
It technically doesn't have to mean Iron Man versus Hulk, because technically, didn't we already have Iron Man versus Hulk in the Avengers?
Well, we actually did. No, it
Yeah,
was actually Iron Man versus Thor. I mean, Hulk versus Thor.
it was Hulk versus Thor, and then it was Iron Man versus
Thor
Thor.
versus Captain America.
Yeah,
Yeah,
still, they would learn their lesson to work together by now.
yeah. I mean, like,
Never-
they're a team
Yeah, they're a team. There's no point in
fighting.
fighting. So of course I'm excited now. After seeing the Winter Soldier, I'm like triple excited for Avengers.
Yeah.
It pretty much makes me want to go back and watch the first Avengers again, which I think I will do tonight.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. So.
I'm like really excited for Age of Ultron. I mean, like, I want to see how Ultron's origin story changed. We saw the teaser trailer for Age of Ultron, like in the last SDCC, San Diego Comic Con, I think that was. That they showed the teaser trailer. It showed Iron Man's armor transforming into Ultron's head. So
Wait, there was a teaser trailer
yeah,
for
it came out in last year's San Diego Comic Con.
Well, you know, of course everyone forgot about that, because you know what else was announced at that San Diego Comic Con?
What?
Batman vs Superman.
True.
Yeah.
So everyone forgot about Age of Ultron there. They were like, hey, Batman vs Superman, done. No one's gonna remember that.
That's probably DC's uprising right there.
That is.
Batman vs Superman.
It's their only thing currently. They have nothing else until Batman vs Superman. They have no.
Other than some animated films.
Because the DC universe, they can't get together. They're all separate.
The DC universe isn't doing well right now when it comes to movies. They're only doing well in the video games and TV department, but the movies department, they're not doing well. After 2016, they have to do something. Once Batman vs Superman comes out, they have to improve. They have to have already a bunch of films planned.
Yeah.
Or else Marvel's going to make them a joke in the movies.
Yeah, so after Age of Ultron is Ant-Man, Hank Pym.
Yeah, in the movie, yeah.
Yeah, so that's phase 3. So
Yep.
phase 3 starts with Ant-Man. We actually don't know nothing about Ant-Man.
I mean, like,
that short,
except for the
video.
short thing that they leaked in, like, I think that was also the Comic-Con. They leaked the
that
short.
came out way before Comic-Con. The little thing that leaked because of Ant-Man, that came out way, way before Comic-Con.
Yep.
It was like a small little, how should I say, like an alpha.
Yeah, that was
footage?
like alpha footage that the director made just to test out the visuals.
Yeah, and it looked great. It looked really cool.
Yeah, we
'Cause
want
we
to see
saw-
more of that shrinking action.
I think we saw like a big Ant-Man, and then he was running down the hallway, and then we see him turn really small, and then
Just
still
beat up
have
some guards.
like huge, and then punch the little security guy away. That was cool.
And then he enters the elevator way and just goes
Yeah.
out.
From you guys seeing the costume, you guys like the Ant-Man costume? I think it looks okay.
Yeah,
It looks like Ant-Man.
Yeah, it looks like Ant-Man.
Is it gonna be in? I don't think it's gonna be an origin story because isn't like the old Ant-Man and the new Ant-Man?
I heard that it's gonna be like Hank Pym. It's about Hank Pym. It's about him creating the suit, and then they're gonna fast forward in time how the next Ant-Man's gonna get it. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
But then he gets the suit from Hank Pym, and then he becomes the new Ant-Man.
Scott Lang.
Yes.
I thought Scott Lang was the old one and Hank Pym was the new one.
Hank Pym was the first Ant-Man.
Oh, and then Scott Lang's the second. Okay. True. So yeah, so I don't think this would be an origin story then of Ant-Man, or it could be an origin story on Hank Pym. I mean, yeah, Hank Pym, Ant-Man, and see how he starts taking it up from Scott Lang.
Do you think like, after Hank Pym like gives up his Ant-Man armor to
Scott Lang?
Yeah, you think that Hank Pym might become the Yellow Jacket because that's who he becomes in comics after.
I don't think so. I think that just because I think that they want to first just concentrate on Ant-Man first, just because we've never seen him in an animated film. Because not an animated film, a live action film, because Ant-Man's film has been developing since the late 1980s. Since the 1980s, they've been trying to make an Ant-Man film, and they still have it in
Back
2014.
then, they didn't have good
Yeah,
special
they didn't
effects.
have technology. It's probably technology limitations during the time.
Yeah, and so I think they first want to make a film just focus on Ant-Man, so that way people can get to know the character and establish him in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And then by the second Ant-Man film, if there is going to be one or another film in the future, then they can start establishing other characters that center around Ant-Man. I think first they just need to establish the character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Do you think Janet, uh, the Wasp is gonna appear in Ant-Man?
Possibly. It depends. It depends, really a lot, like I just said. It depends on how much they want to establish the character before giving him other characters
Yeah.
to interact with superpowers as well.
And Ant-Man is actually the last revealed film that was actually revealed for
Actually, there was Captain
this
America
year.
3.
No, Captain
Captain
America 3.
America 3.
Yeah, there's also Captain America 3, yeah.
That's actually coming out the same day that Batman vs. Superman coming out.
2016.
And May 6th, 2016, and that's gonna be
Seems
That's a
trouble.
competition right there.
Yeah.
That's a big competition. And personally, I'm going to see Batman vs. Superman before Captain America 3.
True.
Just because when is the last time you saw Captain America in the movie? Yeah, 2 years ago. Okay. When's the last time you saw Batman versus Superman? Never in your life. So when you gonna want to see that? Yeah, as soon as it comes out.
Yeah.
Now if it's garbage and I regret it, oh well.
At least we know that there's a Batman vs Superman live action movie.
Yeah. And if it turns out to be garbage, oh well. Then I guess I have a good Marvel movie to go look forward to.
Unless that's also garbage, but I doubt
No.
it.
Well, we thought Captain America was going to be garbage. Was it garbage? No. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Was it garbage? No.
It was far away from being garbage.
Yeah, I really doubt that Captain America 3 is going to be garbage just because the same writers for Captain America: The First Avenger and The Winter Soldier are coming back to make the third one. Yeah, it's going to be fine.
Okay, so if the usual order was like Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, then Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. I don't know why this one is starting off with Captain America and not another Iron Man film.
Depends if they really want to make another Iron Man film with it, and it's not about casting because Robert Downey Jr. has stated that he would hate to see another person as Iron Man, and as long as the movies are going to be good, he will be Iron Man. So it's not a casting problem. He would come back to make an Iron Man 4. It's more about plot problems as where could we take it from Iron Man 3 and pretty much after the Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and after the Avengers, where could we take it? Where could we take Iron Man after Iron Man 3 and Age of Ultron? Because depends. First of all, after the Avengers, even though since we're before Age of Ultron, first of all, we don't know what Iron Man suits are
happen?
in.
I mean, like,
We don't know what Iron Man suits are going to be in Age of Ultron, just because since we're after Iron Man 3, he blew them all up. Since we're before Age
that's
of
all we
Ultron,
know right now. So
yeah, we don't know what
Tony
movie.
Stark is in the missing right now.
Yeah, so we don't know what suits could be in Age of Ultron. We don't know technically if Tony's gonna be Iron Man in it. He could just be Tony Stark in it. You don't know. Most likely he will be Iron Man in it, but still, we don't really know much about his story right now. So it all depends where they could take Iron Man after Age of Ultron. Because really he could die in Age of Ultron.
that's true.
Tony Stark could be killed. So
yeah, that's what's right now.
Yeah, so Captain America 3 is actually the latest film that they announced that's after Ant-Man. They might have Doctor Strange or some Quicksilver Scarlet Witch spin-off.
But that's
Yeah. So let's wrap it up. So
it starts off with Captain America 3, and then that's pretty much it. I don't know what more they could reveal. Maybe at Comic-Con again they could show another Marvel film.
Yeah, we just wait till the next Comic-Con.
Yeah, that's pretty much it until now.
yeah, so this was a recap.
We actually didn't talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., how that was affected.
Oh, true. Okay, yeah. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. it started like after Iron Man 3, and then it continued on Iron Man 3 story. How this group, Centipede, is actually using extremists and like technology to improve on the super soldier serum.
Yeah. Well, can they improve it?
I
Because
mean, like the
pretty
guy
much,
died, the doctor died. It's
It's
like
like
no,
a mix of every single thing that makes someone strong.
yeah, it's pretty much it was like gamma radiation, super soldier serum, extremis, and
Yeah,
some.
all that in one little package.
Yeah, and I think it wasn't it hurting the person that was using it
they
anyway.
blow up.
Yeah, they well, extremist causes that.
Yeah, extremist is the one that caused them to blow up.
Yeah,
So in the future episode, they have that guy that burns, and they use his DNA to actually stop the explosions. What
yeah.
happens?
So I like
Uh,
how the show connects most of movies that came out with the Marvel universe. Like
yeah.
when the
Um,
Thor, they talked about how cleaning up the event after Thor, and Captain America. They showed how Hydra now takes over Shield and the struggle.
well, but here's the thing. Iron Man started technically Iron Man 3 started the Agents of Shield with the story, but that didn't affect it too much. Thor wasn't much either because pretty much after Thor: The Dark World, all they did was clean up the
But
mess.
Captain America did.
Captain America was the one that did change the entire show because they revealed the Hydra as part of Shield, and they pretty much had to fled.
Now I was doing research and then I saw that Agent Garrett when he showed up. If you are actually true to the comics and like an extreme fan of the comics and you know all that, when you look it up, Agent Garrett is already Hydra. That's what it said in the comics that Garrett is a Hydra person that was used to be Shield.
Uh huh. Who was Garrett in the show again?
He was the guy that turned to
The
Hydra.
clairvoyant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Technically, he isn't even the clairvoyant
Yeah, he's
anymore.
not clairvoyant at all. So.
Yeah, he's just a guy. So I do. I think clairvoyance staying as a show thing. I don't think it'll connect into the movies at all.
I mean, like they never mentioned clairvoyant at all.
Yeah. Do you think that the Agents of Shield crew will ever appear in a Marvel film? I don't think so.
Maybe. I mean, like some people that appeared in movies appeared in the show.
Yeah, but that's because they're part of Shield. But these are a group of teens or young adults who are. Well, then again, they are with Phil Coulson,
Yeah,
so that
Coulson
might be a
himself,
thing.
yeah.
Oh, there was this thing I found out that before Captain America movie came out, Agent Sitwell in an episode before the uprising, uh, Agent Sitwell said that he was gonna get stationed to the Lumerian Star, which is the ship that got hostage
Oh
in
yeah,
Captain
yeah.
America: The Winter Soldier.
See, when I was
Uh,
watching the show, I didn't know what the Lumerian Star was until I watched the movie, and that was the ship.
oh yeah. Do you think by Age of Ultron the Avengers will find out about Coulson again?
I mean, they're clear. I mean, I guess so. I mean, they're already a team.
Yeah.
I mean,
So the Coulson will probably make a surprise appearance during Age of Ultron
yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
because Thor almost found out because of Lady Sif
I know, right?
until Coulson told her not to say anything. So I think he'll make a surprise appearance. Because so far in the show, they don't know that Fury is alive. Only Coulson, Cap, Black Widow,
And that
and
And then,
Eric Koenig guy.
yeah, the coat. Yeah, that guy.
yeah. Oh, and I think Falcon.
Yeah, of course Falcon. Yeah.
Well, some of the council does too.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. Because he did like show up when at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's pretty much it.
Yep.
I don't like. Well, it's a surprise how they had picked Agent Ward throughout the entire show as a good character, and then the end.
He's actually a bad character. Like
Evil.
he's evil.
Yeah. Well,
Or is
I'm
he?
kind of still debating if he's just undercover for Hydra.
That's what
Or
I'm thinking. What if he was just a double agent or something?
I think he's a double agent. What I feel is that Agent Ward is really just undercover on Hydra, and he's really part of Shield.
Who knows?
But what we have like 4 episodes left in the show.
Yeah, until
Probably.
the season
Yeah.
finale.
Yeah, I think we only have like 4 episodes left, so who knows?
Yeah, so
Uh,
let's wrap this up again. So
yeah, because we can't talk about any other future
Yeah,
movies
that's all we
besides
know